around 71. Then whenever he produced EOS, I cloned a copy of EOS to form a middle chain between EOS and bit shares, and I call that BIOS. And that particular chain is famous because it's got a special feature called jurisdictional agility, which means people, whenever they do a transaction, can specify which node they want to sign it, and the system will wait until that node comes around, and then it'll get signed in the jurisdiction of that node, which gives you a little bit of flexibility. I developed a gold-backed legal tender token called Quint, which is, you can read about it at quintric.com. And now we're working on Carrot Swap, an app that earns you discounts on gold quints from all your credit card purchases. We're also raising funds for a project called Sovereign Sky, which is intending to put a blockchain in space. And one of the things that I'm doing here at Fractally is offering to put a Fractally node in orbit. So we formed a Fractally group. We got Fractally in Orbit Telegram group and Fractally in Orbit team to figure out what it would take to put a Fractally node in orbit and what it can be used for. You can buy shares in this project, which use your cash to buy. Well, basically the way it works is if you contribute funds to the project, then we use your cash to buy silver and then lend the silver to raise money to fund the projects. And so I'll post in the chat here a link to the document that tells you all about how that works. So if anyone is interested in buying into it, you can, go ahead and join the project. You're also welcome to join the Fractally in Orbit team. And in the past couple of weeks, I signed up 2 new members, Michael Taggart and Timothy Burke, who are some of my business partners who have come on board. Last week, I ranked 4, and a couple weeks before that, I ranked 6 a couple times. That's me. So at that point, I'll turn it over to...
Hey, Stan, before you go, what have you been up to this week? I heard about a lot of the long-term stuff and some updates that I hadn't heard before, which is cool. What have you been up to this week?
Well, this week we held a meeting on Friday night, which allowed us to discuss a lot of ideas people had for what we could do with a Fractally node in orbit. And so, what I'll be doing before too long is publishing an article on Steemit that will, allow people, and Hive, that will allow people to hear about it. I think we can generate a lot of attention to the Fractally project by doing that. So, that was my major projects for the week, plus, going forward with our efforts to raise money. You can go ahead.
All right, thanks. You can see my name, so I'll just go on with what I do, what I did. I was a computer system administrator for a research firm in Menlo Park, California called SRI International. The landing spot of the first packet on the internet when it was called something entirely different, built by DARPA. So I worked in the AI lab there until I retired about 4 or 5 years ago. Somewhat rocky retirement, so I'm kind of fishing in and out of working now, but it's nice to not have to punch a clock. So I get to do stuff like this. What I've been doing on the Fractally project is I wrote and I maintain a vote counting program, actually a consensus aggregator is a better way to put it, because we're not really voting here. But so I wrote that a while back and then adapted it when we were doing Zoom chat consensus. I adapted it for that, and then when we moved to Hive, I adapted it for that. And this week, let me actually show you what this thing does so you have a sense of what I'm doing. Where is my browser? There it is.
I'm not sure if you can... I mean, you can try to share through Zoom. It might not let you. Oh, it does. Look at that.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, cool. So this is what it looks like when people vote. I call it nicely, orderly. It's very easy to count with the program. Other times it looks like this. You have to search through here and look for that's vote. So, and then they go crazy. So this actually gave my program quite a lot of trouble, but that's what I sorted out this week, was dealing with all of these extra comments and stuff like that. When Gregory and Joshua have to find out what the consensus was, they have to sort through all this, and it's a manual process and it's error prone. And so I'm writing a program that double checks them so that they can, if there's an error, they have an idea of how to see it. And what the program does is it puts out things like this. So these 4 people agreed on this ordering for that room, and these 6 people agreed on this ordering for that room. So it turns all of this nonsense into a very easy to deal with list that they can then look at and double check their vote. So like I said, what I did this week was I put in a bunch of code that deals with all of this stuff, because that really is hard to parse and look for these votes, but it now works. Last week I ranked 4. No, is it right? Where did I rank last week? Yeah, 4. Give me a second. So I was the 4th from the top. Does that make me?
That makes it 3.
3?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I ranked 3 last week, and I didn't invite anybody this week. That's everything from me. Any questions about that? Does that make sense to everybody?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you're the one writing the code for this vote counting system, I want to know what the most practical syntax is, so we don't really mess it up for you, so we make it easier for you to count the votes. Is it
I
user
appreciate your
comma, add user
consideration.
comma, or?
I'll show you, rather than talk about it. It's much easier to show you. So the syntax that's in the agenda and process is the easiest. And that is this right here. So it's just at Hive username, comma, space, at Hive username, comma, space. And if there's only 5 people, you put at something, at rank 1 user or something like that.
Okay.
So that's an answer to your question. The real answer is, I don't care. Put whatever you want in. I just get to write some extra code, and you're not going to be the only person who writes it that way. So I'll write a condition for whatever you put in, and then anybody who puts it in that way, my code will spit out something that Joshua and Gregory can read pretty easily. So I don't mind. Do it however you like. That's the way we've agreed to do it, though.
Have you shown that to Josh and Gregory? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't shown them the code, but I send them the output every week. And we talk about it and talk
That's
about
great.
what happens. The code's kind of nasty. I'm still cleaning it up. I gotta admit, there's way less functions and a lot of refactoring to do. So
Well, anyway,
I'm a little embarrassed of the code, but it works.
Yeah, it's still useful, so that's great.
Yeah, they get an output every week, and sometimes we discuss, what looks like a consensus and what doesn't, and how to improve the output of the program. Anything else for anybody? All right, I'll nominate Matt because he's next on my screen. Go, Matt, go.
Thank you, Jason. That was great. I really appreciate you doing that parsing for us. I know it's challenging, and I benefit from it, so I value the work that you do.
Thanks.
James, it would be awesome if you could put a link to your Proof of Nothing article into the chat. I missed that somehow, so I'd very much like to read it. If you could put it in the chat, and I'll read it as soon as we're off this call. My name is Matt Langston. I'm a way of introduction. I'm a quantum physicist. I worked for Apple as a systems software engineer. And this group, the Genesis Fractal, is a labor of love for me. So all my time is volunteer. And I care very deeply about what we're doing. And I'm really glad that you're all here. I'm going to post into the chat. I always kind of make a list of what I did over the previous week. So I'm going to post it into the chat and I'll review it briefly. There's some links there. That's why I like to post it in there. And plus it also just keeps me accountable because I save the Zoom chats. So what did I do last week specifically? I created an onboarding service for newcomers with Josh Seymour, who leads our introduction at 8:30 every Saturday. It's a 30-minute one-on-one consultation service via Zoom. So he and I, Josh did all of the back-end work to set up the Calendly service, and he and I have been practicing like role-playing to, what is it like to be a new person and so forth, to try to work out the kinks and make sure the experience is smooth, to give newcomers confidence in what we're doing. So we've officially launched that now. So please, I would encourage all of you, if you have someone who's on the fence, please point them to the link that I posted into the chat, so we can kind of have some personal one-on-one time with people who maybe have some questions before they're really ready to join what we're doing. Last week, I also wrote an article titled "On Simulating Fractal Governance," and I put it with a link there. It's posted to both Hive and gofractally.com. This is what I do for Apple. A large part of what I do for Apple is I simulate systems, and so I'm trying to bring that know-how and experience to what we're doing here. I continue to maintain and update the Genesis Fractal dashboard. So it takes the output of what Jason has done and all the aggregation and curation that Gregory and Josh does. And I just push it to a GitHub repository, which publishes the dashboard. So it gives you a little deeper dive of the statistics and kind of how the dynamics of our Genesis Fractal are evolving over time. So please check that out. I think it's interesting, and share that. I'm continuing to develop the simulator. I have an article in progress. I'm a little more than 2/3 of the way finished with it. The article I published last week was just trying to introduce people to what is a simulator, why is it interesting, why should you care about it, and to try to get the word out for anybody who wants to work with a systems engineering part of Fractally, to reach out to me. I'd love to work and collaborate with anybody on that. I also continue to lead small group discussions on Dan's book. This is a very special book, so I would encourage. It's very thin. You can read it in a couple of days. And I find there's a lot of interest among common folk about the ideas here. They get it instantly, and they just want to talk with somebody about it. I hope we see some of these people on our weekly consensus meeting soon. Several invites out, but I had no takers yet, and I ranked number 6 last week. And I'll pick for next. Eric. Would you like to go next?
Well, I'm just kind of being a fly on the wall and trying to learn this. I followed Dan for several years, and I've read More Equal Animals, and I'm just trying to understand how it works. I participated in Eden, so I have some familiarity with that system. And I can guarantee I have not done very much as far as Fractally this week.
Well, just showing up here and attesting in this consensus is already valuable. So for that, you also are intended to
Get respect.
Yeah, get respect.
It is really valuable. We have to test out this process and understand how to make this work more efficiently and effectively and on a larger scale. And without people just showing up like you have, we have no chance of doing that. So thanks for showing up.
Furthermore, reaching consensus is super difficult because everyone in all of these meetings tends to be like a very valuable contributor. Everyone's a power user. So I think we need to at some point grow the community to have people who are just participating in voting and not everyone being such a power user. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad I made it a little bit easier for all of you.
Yeah. Oscar, I guess you're up.
Yeah, I'm just reading what Jason said. I can contact Mark. He's a team leader.
What?
Mark is a EOS Translation Foundation team leader.
Yeah. I was
So
requesting that
he's-
Matt Langston did that because Matt Langston has this whole onboarding process, and I was doing that, but honestly, what I was doing is a half-assed hack compared to what Matt's doing. So I think Matt's a much better choice for this, and I'd like him to contact Mark Shear about that, because Mark Shear contacted me to get somebody on board. Matt, if you would give me your email address, that might help out a little bit with this too, but I don't want to take any more time with that, although it's, you know, it's about onboarding somebody, it's not about this meeting.
Right. Let's meet up. Right. Why don't you? I will follow up with you after we're out of our small group, Jason, and I'll give you my
Okay.
contact information.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, let's keep moving. I don't want to slow us down.
Okay. I'm gonna share my contributions too in here. Let me I'm copy it here. All right, I'm gonna go through all over them. Oh, I guess the chat doesn't let me paste all of it. But the last part is very interesting. I'm gonna share that to voice, I guess. The last part got cut out is, I'm gonna talk about that first. We discovered in one of the team, I'm part of the ES Translation Foundation team on Fractally. We, our mission is to, you know, increase the bandwidth of the language speaking communities within the communities. And we have a team in Fractal, all right? We're using it to organize ourselves and find the value of each one of us. In one of the meetings that we held this week, I discovered that you can actually generate subtitles in the Zoom meetings, but since we do not have a host in here in this meeting, it appears that we cannot do it. I would have loved to do it, but we can't. When we have a host within the meeting, we can generate the closed captions of the meeting, and then we can use that to translate the entire script, which is a lot faster than just waiting for the YouTube algorithm to speed out the script of the video. We discovered this not too long ago. I discovered it like 2 days ago when we were holding a meeting, and I kind of saw the option and just clicked it, and then the host was able to enable the closed captions. We can do that now, but I'm going to talk about the rest of the things. And this is a very, it might not sound like much, but it's groundbreaking for us. So I participated in the Fractally team, the ES Translation Foundation meetings. That all of them can be found in the YouTube channel. I didn't link it in here, but I can do it. I can do it later if you desire. I got approved by the team leader and the rest of the other members as an admin for the Telegram group, so I can you know, manage it and be sure that we don't have any bots, and you know, set cool tools that we can use in there. Started setting up protection for bots in the group, and that is also ready in a different testing area that I have for that. Also started migrating the team's Notion page from my personal account to the team's account, which I created the week before. But that's old. And I started doing that this week. Also attended an Eden member who requested help with the translation of a video script from Spanish to English. I don't know, but he found us. I don't know how exactly, I haven't asked. But he found us, he found the team group, and he got in there asking for translation services. We were able to help him in time. He was in a rush. We were able to help him, able to help him translating a video that he was in which he was going to, by what I understood, was that in Mexico they are trying to propose Bitcoin as a legal tender on the Senate, and we helped translate the video. It was amazing. I don't know how that went along, but let's wait and see. I also helped a team member, Doug. I'm sure you have seen him around, to verify a YouTube channel. I think that video is not up yet because I kind of gave him my phone number, and I don't really feel very luck. I don't feel very comfortable with the idea of having my phone number leaked around the world. But as soon as we cut that part of the video, the rest of it is gonna be out. What else? Reviewed the information of the YouTube channel with the rest of the team in one of the meetings. We reviewed all the links of the social medias for the team. I made contact with a developer of the website of the ZEOS privacy project on EOS. You know, Matthias, he's building this privacy coin, and he has someone help him with with the developing of the website, and I talked to that person to offer him the translation services. He agreed with it, and he saved our contact for future integration of the website. It's not there yet because he hasn't launched the website yet, but as soon as he does, we're going to be able to help him translate the whole thing. I also participated in the ES Open Stage hosted by Doug too. It was very fun actually. I attended at the very last part of the stream, but it was very very interesting. Also kept the talk in the different groups and Telegram and Discord about how Fractally being independent is a lot better way going forward, rather than just complaining why Dan is not launching an ES. And I believe that was all. Apparently the chat doesn't allow me to write longer messages, but I think that's all. If you have any questions, I invited people, but they have not accepted yet. I am very much waiting for Lisa Chandler to show up, and I ranked 6,543 last week.
Awesome.
Very nice.
I have
I'm clear about that, but I got a question for this guy, James. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I also have questions, but you go first.
All right. I wanted to straighten up my opinion about employees of Fractally and this voting.
And the
I
what?
want to get that, and the voting here for ranks of contributions. My opinion is that nobody's putting in more work on this thing than an employee, and the employees are taking, from what I hear, not the most awesome salary, and depending to some degree on their rewards coming later when the project is fulfilled, and part of that is disrespect. And so my default is, ain't nobody putting in 40, 50 hours for the rest of the other 5 of us, and so I would vote James high. But I don't know about that from your side, James. So I'd like to hear like how that actually occurs for you, what goes on over there, how that's designed, what you know about that. Any comments about that?
Sure. Yeah, let me say a couple things. First thing I would say is the salary situation is different depending on which Fractally employee you talk to. So I think for the like blockchain engineers, so myself, Todd, Stephen Watanabe, I think I'm the only one that actually, well, and Dan obviously, but I'm the only one that participates in these meetings. The rest are, I guess, more shy or introverted or something. But I believe we're all salaried according roughly to like market rates for a blockchain engineer. So we're not donating our time awaiting on some future capital gains or something like that. That's the first thing I'll say. But there are other people at Fractally who are working full time who are doing that. I don't know. I think it's public. For example, like Gregory Wexler, and there's more.
Yeah, he said that on a couple
besides,
of meetings. That's public.
Yeah, there's others besides Gregory too that are doing it because it's a passion of theirs and not necessarily because of a salary. So in terms of how that deserves to rank or something, I guess I can just tell you what my idea is. Not that there is anything that intrinsically or is guaranteed to be the most valuable thing. So I really try to go into these meetings with thinking, what of the things that people say is the most valuable to the community right now? And it very well could be, I mean, I've voted for example, a community member, Gore, when he created a tool that was used to allow our group to come to consensus in one of our meetings. I ranked him number 6. I voted him number 6, not because he put in more work than I did in the last week, because he definitely didn't, but because I want to incentivize people to be doing stuff. I think it's really valuable that we have a community of passionate builders and people doing things, and that is extremely valuable. I think this community should value that. And I'm consistently ranking fairly high, and I think I also should be, because I think I'm doing a lot of work for the project, but by no means does that mean that I would need to rank 6 every time or something like that, even if I'm the only one on the Fractally team in the group. It's a case by case basis, I think. And by the way, I'm saying I rank and you rank and ranking, speaking like I'm ranking people, but I trust that you all internally have some understanding that the rankings that we're doing is intended to be for the contributions. But we end up having to
thanks
put...
for reminding us of that. I have
Yeah.
a hard time fixing my language about that, but we're definitely ranking contributions, not humans.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we're all human beings kicking ass doing what we're doing, and then what we're ranking here is the impact of the contribution that human being made
Right.
this week. Cool. So that clears a lot of stuff up. And given that, I want to hear what you've contributed again, because I heard it from a different point of view than you just presented, and I'd prefer to listen to it again from your point of view, because
Yeah, sure.
I was making up what I thought your point of view was, and I was wrong. So
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Can someone remind me, is this meeting over in 15 minutes or 30? Do we have until the 15-minute
15
mark
minutes.
of the next hour? Okay. All right, I'll be quick. My contributions in the last week were essentially working full-time on smart contracts. So specifically, I've been working on the token system contract for the new chain and the symbol system contract, and the NFT system contract, which I guess this is kind of a spoiler. I don't think we've talked. Well, maybe it was announced. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm working on some of the core system contracts that will be used for all the primitives for all objects on chain. Yeah, that was my main contribution last week and every week prior. So that's what I do full time. And then I also have written a couple educational blog posts. Actually, one I didn't mention, want to share, I'll post in the chat because it might be helpful to, for example, you, Matt Langston. I wrote an article called Onboarding to the Genesis Fractal that I found that there wasn't a good one-page resource for people that were looking to join. And so I just wrote one real quick. It has some definitions and links. So that's those are my contributions.
Thanks. That clears that up for me really well. Appreciate it.
I don't know how you've all voted in the past, but one way that I've done it that worked fairly efficiently was, if you have somebody in mind for rank 6 right now, we could write the name in chat and then all submit it at the same time. And then if there's not unanimous agreement or not consensus, we can talk about it and figure out how to reach consensus. And then we just march down through the ranks. Does anyone...
I'm on board with that.
Not want to do that? Okay. Well, actually, even if we reach consensus, let's just explicitly ask if anybody wants to make any comments or expound on it at all. I don't want to, nobody should feel like they're... Anyway. All right, let's put in the rank number 6 in the chat, and then we'll all agree to submit at the same time.
One thing I want to add to that is a lot of people aren't comfortable voting themselves. And so I want to remind you that your contribution is your contribution. And if you think your contribution is whatever rank we're dealing with, please put your name in there.
I agree. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, sweet. So,
that's a royal mess. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is actually. All right, so we have 1 for Oscar, 2 for James, 2 for Matt, and then Eric. Did I miss your vote? Do you
No,
have an opinion?
It wasn't even clear to me whether 6 was high or 6 was low. I'm that new to this. I don't even know if I was participating when I got up this morning.
We're currently ranking the largest contribution.
Yeah,
that's what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
That's how behind the 8 ball I am. Okay, good.
Hey, it's fine, man. You got to learn sometime. Now is a good time as any. So say something, and then we'll talk about this, Eric.
So Eric, what we're about to do is there's lots of different opinions, and we're valuing the contribution. And so we're literally mining. We're all human powered miners right now, and so we need to mine. We need to learn what we can to try to come to consensus, or if we fail to find consensus, then nobody gets the rewards of our efforts during this time. So this is one of the most exciting parts of governance, is we get to see mining in action right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's kind of like Eden voting. I just didn't know if 6 was the highest or 6 was the lowest. So I don't know if we're voting for number 1 or 6. Okay.
All right, so
we are voting for number 6, who is the top contributor.
Correct. So what's your vote for that, Eric? Top contributor in the room right now.
all right. Well, while Eric's writing that, I'm going to say something. I had 2 very close calls for this, and I am very happy to change mine to Matt is the punchline, because it really depends on what are the metrics that we're evaluating here, and I can very easily make a case in my own brain that the smart contract development, which is currently closed source, what I'm working on, so you cannot all look at it and verify it right now, is less immediately impactful than the tools that Matt is building and the one-on-one meetings he's having and the small group he's leading talking about more equal animals. Those are all extremely immediate, and so I think it is a good idea for me to change to honor and respect the immediacy of the results in Matt's contributions, and that's what I think. And that would mean that Matt has 3 votes, and James has 2 votes, and Oscar has 1 vote, and so we would still need one more person to switch to Matt to reach consensus.
I'll switch to Matt.
I might be that person if I hear what Oscar has to say about Matt, because I don't think I got clear what Matt has contributed. So since Oscar also voted, Oscar, would you sort of make a case for that so I can hear what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing, the thing he also shared with us in the chat, I'm seeing a lot of time that he put into. I'm not saying that James did not put a lot of time. I know he did put a lot of time in, like he said, that is a very important work too. But I mean, I like he also said, I know that he's been ranking very high lately on the meetings, and he will continue to do so. So Matt doesn't really have that advantage because he's not in the Fractal team, but he's also putting a lot of work and a lot of time. He put this effort into talking to people and directing people to the Fractal system. So I believe that he deserves a vote. Not saying that he deserves it any more than James. I believe that both of them do, but in this case, I think James has the advantage of being in the Fractal team, and he will continue to rank high in the future. And also, since he is in the team, he will be matched with the respect of the other team members. So I think Matt deserves.
And then Jason, in particular, Matt, the contributions that really stuck out to me that Matt said was that he's leading a small group where they're talking about more equal animals, and so that's very valuable community outreach. So that's really probably my favorite contribution of Matt's, but then also he's written a couple helpful articles, and he's starting a one-on-one consultation service for people who have questions. So for example, Eric might connect with Matt later and talk if you have any questions.
Yeah, clear. Okay, so, I got it. I missed a couple of things that he did, and I think now that I've heard them again, I misvalued them as well. So I'm aligned with Matt as top in the room, number 6 this time.
And I'll go along with it too.
Cool. All right. Let's do the same
Matt at
thing.
Number 6. Let's do same thing for number 5. Yeah.
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, wait.
All right. All right. The cat's out of the bag. You're seeing people's things.
All right. Oscar happened to agree with most everybody anyway. even though we didn't wait for him. Let's hear what Stan has to say about Oscar before we do anything else. How about that?
Agreed.
Well, if you go back and look at Oscar's list of accomplishments of the week, I thought it was very long and impressive. So that's what I think.
It's also worth pointing out Oscar's on a team, and I do believe that when you are on a team, you not only the team is producing not only the value of each individual contributor, there's additional value that comes just out of that collaboration, and that is difficult to get a deterministic or objective view on, but it's a real thing. So worth upping your valuation for anyone in a team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
In
was
this
kind of
case-
on the fence, but I am still on the side of James for this one. But they're so damn close that it was a tough call.
All right. Unless anybody has any other comments, we have 5 minutes left in this meeting. So I propose that we keep moving. Okay.
Stan, are you okay with us voting James for number 5 this time, and assuming that it's going to come out in the wash next time because Oscar's going to kick ass next week too?
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
All right, thanks.
All
We
right.
have a 6, 5, and a 4. Is that right so far?
We have a 6
We
and
have
a 5.
5.
And now
we're
let's
about
do
to vote on
4.
4.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready.
I'm
If you
ready.
guys are-
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. All right. I voted Jason. So I'll just speak up quickly. There's already a consensus for Oscar. But I'll just say quickly that Jason's tool is extremely valuable and has an immediate help for Joshua and Gregory.
And me. I really value what, I could not do what I do without Jason's contributions.
Right. And the value of having another developer in the community alone. I mean, I want everyone to be a developer because it's very important. But yeah, I think we can. Oscar's also contributing quite a lot, so I have no problem switching to say that the contributions of him being on the team and the translation team could be valued this week at 4. Jason, I just would want to say I appreciate very much the work that you're doing.
I'm clear about the appreciation, and I'm going to request that you vote Oscar instead of me for this one.
Okay.
Because I looked at what
I do
Oscar did, and I
appreciate it
looked
a
at what
lot,
I
so.
did, and I'm pretty clear he outdid me this week.
All right. Let's move to 3, so the third rank. All right.
We ready for that? I am ready. Just give me a
Ready.
thumbs up, everybody in the video, when you're ready, and then we can post these things, yeah? That's pretty much everybody. I can't see all of them. We ready? Let's do it.
All right. Go.
That
All right.
was easy.
Yeah. Unanimous. All right. Let's move on to the next one. 3, 2, 1.
It does get easier because there's just less choices.
Yeah, there's less choices. All right, and then Eric is the final contribution.
Okay, somebody paste in the ordered ranking.
I'll get it. I got it ready.
All the right names.
All right, we did it. That was came down to the wire there. Yeah, I appreciate all of your contributions very much, and it's inspiring
It
for
was agreed, James. Sorry for interrupting. It was tough for me between myself, the contributions, like not the personalities, the contributions between me and Jason and James and Oscar. And the wisdom, so the wisdom of the crowds will sort this out, right? So Oscar, bring your, I really value that Oscar had a list and now he can just copy it forward next week. And he can say, hey, I didn't rank where I think I should have last week. And I made these contributions. I would like to have the community recognize them. And you're going to have a group of 5 random people the next week. So this all is going to sort itself out if you trust the process.
Yeah, Dan said it's almost guaranteed to be unfair each week, and almost guaranteed to be fair over an average of 6 weeks.
Yeah, the concept of fairness.
It's about to get harder and harder too, because every time you have people like this room was very hard to rank.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, a lot
So, Eric, there's another contribution you did. Geez, at least one of these was easy.
of.
Yeah, I didn't get any votes at all. I don't understand how this process works.
What do you mean? You got 5 votes for rank number 1, which turns out is not the highest rank in this room.
Okay, well, that was interesting. Thanks for glad to contribute.
Yeah,
Just look at what's a self-expression for you to contribute to the effort, the project, the people, the inviting, whatever works for you, and then bring that to the degree that it's interesting to you to bring that, and then it'll get ranked however it gets ranked. But all of this adds up if you just play along.
Okay, thank you.
Have fun. Very important
That
too.
too.
So have fun and share with everyone around.
It
And
was
post the
honored to work
consensus
with all of
on
you.
the web page that Oscar put out there. Click that web page and post the consensus onto that web page, please, everybody.
sounds good. All right, thanks
All right, see
everyone.
you all next week. Thanks.
Thanks everyone.